Good day everyone. Welcome again to our subject Foundations of Special and Inclusive Education. This will be the last chapter that we will discuss in our subject. It is divided into, I think, three discussions because we will talk about the learners with additional needs. Children learn every day. That is the actual happening to our environment today. This happens in various settings and different ways. Learning at times happens intentionally and with a great effort, while there are situations where it happens almost effortlessly. This discussion focuses on learners with additional needs, highlighting the definition, the identification, the learning characteristics, and general education adaptation. Basically, the objectives of this discussion is to identify the various additional needs learners might have. Also to differentiate the additional needs from one another, recognize the characteristics of learners with additional needs, discuss the marginalization means, and identify different marginalized groups. Let us now, we will just discuss two additional needs for this discussion. The first one is learners who are gifted and talented. Learners who are gifted and talented are students with higher abilities than average and are often referred to as gifted students. This group refers to students whose talents, abilities, and potentials are developmentally advanced. They require a special provisions to meet their educational needs, presenting a unique challenge to teachers. They often finish tasks ahead and might ask for more creative tasks or exercises. Exciting and energizing activities should be provided to continuously keep them motivated. This group includes students with exceptional abilities from all socioeconomic, ethnic, and cultural populations. Let's now discuss what is the difference between gifted and talented. The term giftedness refers to students with extraordinary abilities in various academic areas. However, talent focuses on students with extraordinary abilities in a specific area. There is also another way to look into giftedness, which is conceptualized by Gardner in 1993. According to him, intelligence is multifaceted. So, these are the following intelligences. We have the musical, as you can see here, we have the musical, the bodily kinesthetic. We have the interpersonal, verbal linguistic. We have the logical, mathematical, we have the naturalistic, we have the interpersonal, and visual and spatial. To identify gifted and talented students, one must do the following. Number one is locate the student's domain of giftedness. Next is to describe the student's level of giftedness, and you have to describe the student's fields of talent. Of course, in identifications, you have to know first what is the level or what kind of giftedness the students have, and after that is you have to describe what level of the giftedness, and then you have to describe the students' fields of talent. We have now the learning characteristics. Not all learners will exhibit the learning characteristics listed here. However, these are the common manifestations of gifted and talented learners. One might possess a combination of characteristics in varying degrees and amounts. We have the high level of intellectual curiosity. We have reads actively, high degree of task commitment, keen power of observation, highly verbal, gets bored easily, can retain and recall information, excited about learning new concepts, independence in learning, good comprehension of complex contexts, strong, well developed imagination, looks for new ways to do things, and often gives uncommon responses to common questions. Next is we have the general educational adaptations. So learners who are gifted and talented usually get bored since they have mastered the concepts taught in class. So one thing that is common among gifted students is that they are very inquisitive. So fulfilling their instructional needs may be a challenging task. So these are some suggested strategies for teaching gifted students. Number one is teachers may give enrichment exercises that will allow learners to study the same topic at a more advanced level. We have also the acceleration can let students who are gifted and talented can move at their own pace, thus resulting at times to in completing two grade levels in one school year. Next is open-ended activities with no right or wrong answers can be provided, emphasizing on divergent thinking wherein there are more possibilities than predetermined answers. We have the leadership roles can be given to gifted students since studies have shown that gifted students are often socially immature. We have the extensive reading on subjects of their own interest may be coordinated with the school librarian to further broaden their knowledge. We have the long-term activities may be provided that will give the gifted students an opportunity to be engaged for an extended period of time. So these are the following strategies that you can use in the future when you have students who are gifted and talented. So we have also the long term. I just repeated the last number 6. So I have here a video clip or a short clip that will show to you a gifted or a talented students inside the classroom. So um, if you want to watch the video clip in the YouTube, I will um, leave the link in the below before the comment section.
These children have one thing in common. They've all been identified by their schools as being gifted or talented.
I tried to smile, but what was I thinking all the while?
Gifted pupils are the most academically able, and talented pupils are those who excel in sport or in the arts. The aim of the government's Gifted and Talented programme introduced in 2005 is to give these pupils the opportunity to reach their full potential. But what does the Gifted and Talented vision mean in practice for schools, and what role do governors play? To find out, we visited a primary and a secondary school in East Sussex. Angela O'Connor is head teacher at Sacred Heart Catholic Primary School.
The point of the Gifted and Talented is to recognise when children have something extra and that we need to put extra provision in place, which we've always done for special needs children. It's now recognising that the more able children, the talented children, won't just tick over. they need to be motivated and to be moved on.
Gifted and talented was a notion that Jonathan Goddard, one of the governors of the school, was initially uncertain about.
When I first heard the language that was being used, I was feeling slightly uncomfortable about it, because the school, as most primary schools would say, that every child has got strengths and you play to those strengths. So following discussions with governors, we decided that the curriculum committee should conduct a review of the way in which the G&T policy was being implemented within the schools sort of day to day.
The governor's review began with identification. There's a requirement that 10% of pupils at every school are identified as gifted and talented. How does staff at Sacred Heart Primary carry out this task?
Teachers do a great deal of assessment, and during the course of doing that assessment they will identify children that they think have got a particular talent or aptitude.
We use the CAT scores, cognitive ability tests, and SAT scores. We also write to parents to see whether children have interests outside school, if they have talents, if they've won any competitions.
The Chinese are making things like computers that you can say, turn on please.
Alfie is one of 4 children in Year 4 on the Gifted and Talented register.
It became apparent very quickly that Alfie was extremely articulate, with a very wide vocabulary, far more so than children of his age, and he wasn't afraid to speak out.
The curriculum committee was keen to know about the provision that's in place for children like Alfie.
We personalise it, and we target it at individual children. So when the teachers are planning their curriculum, they will plan for differentiation, but then they will look at the most able children in their class and how they can actually help them in the class to improve all the time.
It's the same work, but then we approach it at different levels depending on the child's ability. So with the Tudors, for example, we're going to be linking the divorces to the Spanish Armada. So we give them information and try and make links across. Some of the other children in the class might not be capable of doing that, and with that level we'd work with knowledge and comprehension.
Underpinning the school's gifted and talented provision is a new focus on higher order thinking skills. Today, Year 4 has a critical thinking class about useless inventions.
We're going to take something really useful, something that works, and we're going to ruin it. This is a fan for cooling your food. It's attached to a chopstick. What could a problem with that?
It might blow your food everywhere. If you're putting it up to your mouth, it might cut your lips when it's spinning.
We've introduced classes around thinking as a direct result of the work around gifted and talented we've been doing as a school. And the idea is to make children realise that there are different ways of approaching a problem, and that there are different ways of thinking.
Every teacher now is trying to use the higher order thinking skills. They've all got sheets which they can put in the planning files and try and adapt to their lessons, even Key Stage 1, to try and just get the children thinking a bit more.
Alfie has finished his work and is heading to the Challenge Corner, another innovation resulting from the Gifted and Talented programme.
We've got this box in the corner with lots and lots of challenges in to really get our brains going. I like this thing because it's the most challenging thing that I've ever done.
For children talented at sport or the arts, the school runs after-school clubs.
I was in this art club that my Year 3 teacher does, and only a few of us went, and we had to sign our own Christmas card, and mine came first in the south area.
The school encourages parents to explore out-of-school opportunities for their gifted and talented children.
We can't always address the needs of the gifted and talented, but we're very lucky we're able to tap into the excellence clusters, that they have a gifted and talented strand.
The Excellence Cluster offers a programme of enrichment activities.
Today's activity is part of a 3-day project. It's known as Future Worlds, and the children look at all kinds of aspects to do with what could happen in the future. Could it be a good world, a bad world? Are they optimists or pessimists? And who thinks it might be a lot worse? It might be a nightmare. Who thinks it might be perfect?
There might be more wars and fighting going on in the world. I think it's somewhere in between the two, because global warming, that would be bad, and pollution. But more people in the world and figuring out new medicines and things like that. With progress, more people have better things, and then people just go up to them and say, Oh, I think I would fancy that. Can I share it? And they might say no, and they're like, right, that's it, I'm going to get it.
We might follow up with a drama activity that looks at future worlds. We might do art and design. So we're trying to offer these children the opportunity to do things that the school can't offer them in the day-to-day.
The excellence cluster activities are mainly for the gifted and talented pupils, but we do try and include some of the other children as well, because we don't want the same children doing all the activities. So it's nice to give other children a chance, and they do respond to it.
The impact of the Gifted and Talented programme on all children at the school allayed Jonathan Goddard's original doubts.
The review report was very positive about the implementation of this policy within the school, and the benefit it was showing not just to what one might call gifted and talented children, but to a whole range of children throughout the school.
The governors will be monitoring the Gifted and Talented programme annually.
I think one of the best things about putting provision in place for gifted or talented is that it shows other children what they can do. I think it enables all children to succeed.
Each year, some girls from Sacred Heart Catholic Primary go on to Helenswood Performing Arts College a couple of miles away. Steve Weekly is the Gifted and Talented coordinator there.
I've got various roles in the school. I'm a geography teacher. I also teach advanced subsidiary critical thinking, and also I'm the Gifted and Talented coordinator for the school. So that means when I'm not teaching, I spend my free periods and out of school hours just planning events and making sure that we keep up to speed with the Gifted and Talented programme.
I don't know. As long as we're just going, I suppose that'd be great.
Steve has had huge support in this role from one of the governors, Shirley Laws.
Before I became a governor, I was on staff at the school for 25 years, and it was very evident that there was lots in place for the less able, but not for the gifted and talented, because they got on with their work and did what they had to do. They weren't really recognised in the way that I felt they should.
When the Gifted and Talented initiative started at the school, Shirley became the link governor.
I spent quite a lot of time doing some research, looking for websites and actually finding out what there was already out there and finding out what the criteria was for just identifying someone who is gifted or talented.
There's now a clear method of identification.
Each department has a list of statements which would identify either a gifted or a talented student depending on the subject. As we're teaching our students and doing different tasks, we can easily identify which ones are our gifted or are talented based on the way that they respond to the stimuli that we give them.
Take out the inverted commas.
In terms of provision in the school, we've got a variety of different ways that we approach it. We've got either the enrichment activities where we have a variety of different clubs running, and in terms of lessons, we're really looking at the ability of teachers to highlight more clearly the differentiation that we already do. So it's the idea of introducing high order thinking skills as opposed to similar tasks and extension work that just takes them at the same level, just fills their time.
We're continuing with the investigation we started yesterday, with investigation into the effects of different sources of rain on natural rocks and building materials. Any questions?
This science class is based around an open-ended investigation.
It incorporates lots of the aspects that work very well with gifted and talented. We've got independent learning, research, collaborative work. They're making links across the curriculum. They are thinking creatively. So it's very open-ended, so they can really take it where they want to.
I like doing these investigations because they're really good, because instead of following the lesson plan, you can make them your own and try and experiment different ways.
Tallulah is a very self-driven, self-motivated young lady, and that's an important thing to keep going with these students. They must be given the opportunities to extend themselves. They must be given sufficient challenge, otherwise we can lose them and they can get bored and then they're not going to achieve their potential. So how are you going to know how long you've done it for then?
We're going to time it.
You're going to time it?
Yeah.
You started timing it, have you?
Yeah.
Good. Right.
If you are gifted and talented, it motivates you because you feel like you can keep pushing to keep making yourself better, and you know that you are on a good level and that you can probably keep staying at that good level.
Good, well done, round the cone. And back again. Excellent, Marie. Right round the cone. Plant foot push-up.
There's also a whole range of activities organised for the school's talented students.
Drive that back leg through. Dry that back. Good use of arms, Marie.
My main sport is badminton, and currently I'm ranked top 10 in Great Britain.
We started a gifted and talented club at Helenswood about 5 years ago. We knew about Marie before she came. She's already been selected to be a future England star and has been to development camps for badminton. We saw that as an opportunity that if she is talented, we could possibly use her in other sports.
The governing body monitors gifted and talented provision via meetings between link governors and departmental heads.
We ask them, what provision have you made on a day-to-day basis? A lot of things are happening for them in a group or perhaps out of school, but what are they doing in the classroom?
In addition, Steve reports to the Governor's Curriculum Committee on the initiatives he's putting in place and how his role is developing.
Very recently, I've received extra support from the school. I've now got an administrator, which I have several hours a fortnight, and we work together making sure all the basics of the Gifted and Talented programme are solid and running. We've also spent time and money putting together a G&T base so that our students have an area that they can go to with their enrichment clubs or with their homework research that is separate from the rest of the school and provides materials and technology that they will find useful.
Well done, yeah, looking backwards.
Both Steve and Geraldine at Sacred Heart Primary are currently undergoing lead teacher training. Lead teachers are central to the government's Gifted and Talented programme.
The current initiative is to have a teacher in each of the secondary schools and a teacher across a group of primary schools, which are aimed at pretty much being an example of gifted and talented teaching. Providing for gifted and talented within the lesson is key. The whole idea is that by working with it in the classroom, it raises the standard of everyone around them. They want to be part of it, they want to get involved. So the phrase that we've stuck with is the rising tide lifts all ships. So by providing for our gifted and talented, we're providing a support network for the rest of the school as well to improve their standards.
So that is the example of a class or a school or in a classroom wherein you can see a talented and gifted students. So for better and deeper understanding of what it looks like to have a gifted or talented students inside the classroom, we have here again another video clip that shows to you a talented and gifted students. So again, if you wanted to watch the individual video, I will leave the link of the YouTube video in the description box.
In any classroom, up to
So that's all for today's discussion. So for your performance activity, answer the following questions. This is consists of 40 points. Put your answer in the comment section below by following the format, your name, the block and cluster, and your answer. So I'm sorry, I will not be able to change the deadline. So the deadline would be on October 24, 2023, 8 o'clock p.m. only. So again, the deadline of submission is on October 14, 2023, 8 o'clock p.m. only. So for your performance activity, from the 2 video clips, make an observation analysis. What did you observe from the videos? And please narrate it. So again, from the 2 video clips, make an observation analysis. What did you observe from the videos? And kindly narrate it. So that's all for today's discussion. So I hope you learned something from our discussion for today. So again, if you have any questions, you can chat it in our group chat. So for the part 2 of the chapter 6, for the additional needs in our subject, we will discuss the learners with difficulty seeing. So thank you very much for listening and watching our discussion. So see you on part 2 of our discussion.